This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining the eGrants My AmeriCorps Program Startup webinar. This is Kat Keene. I serve as the National Service Programs Director here at Volunteer Florida, and our program managers are also joining the call. I wanted to share with you that this call and webinar will be recorded and be posted on our website. So if there are others in your office or in your organization that should watch this in the future, it will be available. To get us started today, we wanted to share at Volunteer Florida, we have a number of new programs this year, so we're so excited to support you. And we know that creating user accounts, recruitment, and enrollment are all things that each of you need to know, and many of you need a refresher on. So we built in this webinar as part of our general technical assistance with starting up new programs. Many of you have experienced challenges related to the pre-enrollment process this year. And the intent of this webinar is not related to those challenges, though we will talk about them at the end of the webinar. The intent is really to orient new staff and new users to the eGrants My AmeriCorps portal. With that, we'll be covering three areas: user account, recruitment, and enrollment. So I'd like to introduce Volunteer Florida's Grants and Training Coordinator, Lizzie Winchester, to lead you through the webinar. Lizzie.
So welcome to the 2018 eGrants webinar. We will be touching on all the things that Kat just mentioned, and we will have time for questions after we go over each of the sections. So you will be able to ask your questions that you have. First, eGrants is the Corporation for National and Community Services, or CNCS, grant application and reporting system. It is also how you access the My AmeriCorps system, which allows users to manage their programs and members. We're going to first show you how to make your account if you have not interacted with the system before. We're going to show you the steps and screenshots and go through this section relatively quickly, but we will be posting this PowerPoint so you'll have it to review as needed. So in eGrants, there are different user roles that can be assigned according to your program. The most important role and the one that has the most access is the grantee administrator. We highly suggest that each program have at least 2 users with this designation to ensure that administration is available at all times to manage user roles and profile information. Usually this is the program director and the executive director for each program. The grantee administrator has full access to the application as well as the responsibility to assign user roles and updating the organization's profile. This user role also has access to all My AmeriCorps functions for all programs, operating sites, and service locations. So there are also 2 user roles that cannot view My AmeriCorps functions. That's the ones that you can see on your screen. It says grantee without access to budget, grantee with access to budget, and that mostly has to do with the application, so you won't be using those as much. These 2 roles cannot assign your user roles and edit organizational profiles in eGrants. So to access My AmeriCorps functions through eGrants, a user must be assigned at least one of the following roles. The grantee administrator. This role has access to both eGrants and My AmeriCorps functions, as well as manages user accounts and organizational information. There is also the grantee recruiter. This role has access to all recruitment functions. That includes creating a service opportunity and processing applications. And then there is also the state national member management role. And this role is given to individuals to assist with member management, but do not have full assistance. So this is the main page to log into eGrants. You want to make sure that you save this page to your browser favorites to serve as a shortcut to access eGrants from here on out. You can also access this through the CNCS website, and also if you just go to Google and you type in eGrants, it's one of the first things that pops up as well if you cannot find the link for some reason. So when you're creating your account, you can first click on Don't Have an eGrants Account? Create an account. So please note that if you already have an eGrants account for another CNCS program type, such as AmeriCorps Vista, do not create another account. You will use the same account to complete all CNCS grant applications and to access My AmeriCorps. Also, if you already have an account but do not remember your login information, please do not create another account in the system. Instead, you can contact the help desk and request that your password to be reset. And Volunteer Florida cannot reset your password for you. You have to go through the help desk. Also, it is important to make sure that your pop-up blocker is turned off when using some aspects of eGrants, because there are some pop-up windows that you might encounter. So this is what you'll see a lot of the time. And once you create your account, you must create a grantee account. Please do not create a peer reviewer account. And on the next page, you're going to confirm by clicking, "This is my first time. I want to create a new account with eGrants." So this is where you complete all of your login information to create your account. You enter your name, your new username, password question and answer, and email address. For security passwords, your password must meet quite a list of criteria. And so if you have any trouble with creating a password, click on the question mark right next to the field to see the help menu. So you might want to do that. This is where that pop-up blocker might come in handy to make sure that's disabled. And then there's the password question and answer fields must also be completed. Should you forget your password when logging in later, there is a forgot password link on the login page that you can follow to reset it. The system will send an email reminder to the address that you provide on this page. So make sure you have access to that email. Once again, Volunteer Florida does not have the availability to reset your password. And also note that as you try to log in later, you must select the same security question to answer. If you forget your password question and attempt to go down the list to answer each one, the system will lock up your account after 3 unsuccessful attempts. Once your account is locked, you must contact the help desk to have it unlocked. So once you have all of this information filled out, click on Next. Then you'll see this page. This is where you enter your EIN, which is the Employer's Identification Number. This is also known as the Taxpayer's ID number. And if you don't know your EIN, it is on the face sheet of your application that you submitted. That is one place where you can find it. After you submit this, you click Next. So the system will give you a list of organizations that have the same EIN as your organization. Please do not create a new organizational profile for the EIN. If you choose this option, rather than linking to an existing organizational profile, you will not be properly connected to the awarded grant. Instead, you can scroll down to find your organization and select it from the list. It is crucial that you select the exact spelling and punctuation of the legal applicant name as it is listed in grant application of the awarded program. Choosing an incorrect one will place your request in the incorrect organizational profile. If you are unsure of which organization to select, so stop the process here and contact your program officer or Volunteer Florida for further guidance, and we will help you there. Then once you've selected your organization, click Next. And then your organization information should pop up and will be displayed with the information already listed. So you're just going to confirm that all of the organization information is correct. And if the information needs to be changed, you must contact the grantee administrator of the organization. And then everything is right, which hopefully it will be, click Next. Now you will enter your contact phone numbers. The only one required is the daytime number, but you have the option to enter other numbers as well. And then you click Next once again. You review all of the information and make any needed changes, and then click Submit. And once you have submitted your account creation request, you should receive a thank you confirmation. Now, that letting you know that your grantee administrator has been notified to confirm your access. And there may be more than one grantee administrator listed if the role is shared with multiple people in the organization, which hopefully it will be because we want you to have at least 2 people. If you would like to send a personal email to the grantee administrator, click on that person's name to open a blank email addressed to that person. So this is after you've created your account. Here we're looking at the grantee administrator's homepage. The grantee administrator is responsible for assigning user roles, so that's what we're going to be talking about next. If you need to be assigned a user role, you must contact the grantee admin of your organization. Your admin will assign you an appropriate user role based on your job responsibilities. So to assign a user role, the grantee administrator should go to the account information page by clicking on My Account at the top. And then you would have to click Edit User Roles and Permissions. And to the right of each name, you will see a box that contains a list of user roles. Go down the list using the scroll bar on the right and highlight all of the applicable user roles. To make multiple selections, press and hold the Control button on your keyboard and use the mouse to highlight. And then you click Submit to save the changes. And the next page you'll see is the confirmation page of the roles that you've added. If grantee administrator assigns someone the grantee member management role, they will also need to designate a level of access. Assigning this access level is crucial because without it, this user will not be able to perform any functions in the My AmeriCorps portal. So to assign an access level, we have to go back to the home page by clicking the blue tab marked Home on the top left of the screen. And once again, only if a user is granted the grantee member management user role would they need to be assigned an additional access level. And from the home page, you can go to the My AmeriCorps functions by clicking the portal Home in order to assign operating site and service site locations to user roles other than the grantee administrator. And user access does not have to align with staff positions. For example, a staff member in charge of data entry at the State Commission or a program can be assigned to the service location level to initiate forms. This is the SNN Workbasket page that details the pending items awaiting approval. And to assign a level of access, click Manage Users on the left-hand navigation. You will see a list of all active member management users listed in alphabetical order. To view by username or name, click on the corresponding orange link to sort in ascending or descending order, and click on the name of the person to assign access. And this where it says Prime, that would not apply to the program, so there would not be any listings under Prime. The levels that would apply are the operating site and the service location. To assign, highlight the appropriate items within the operating site or service location, level of access, and click Add. So this is just the basics about how to add user roles and access. So this is the first part, and so we're going to stop right here for a second and see if any of you guys have any questions. You can do that through the chat box or through over the call. So if there's any are there any questions? Is that a question? Can you speak up? Okay, it sounds like we don't have any questions. I guess that means we'll be moving right along. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Next, we're going to be talking about member recruitment, which is a very important part of eGrants. This is the general workflow for recruitment. First, a grantee recruiter will create a service opportunity listing. After the service listing is created, the CNCS recruitment administrator will approve and post it. This process usually takes about 48 hours or require additional time during high recruitment season. An interested applicant will search for listings, register, and apply to serve. And then once an applicant submits an application, the state and national grantee will view and accept the application and then extend an offer to serve. Applicants will then accept the offer to serve and complete part 1 of the enrollment form. And we will be talking more about that later. So it is important to note that as of July 2nd, 2018, it is required to post all service opportunities in the My AmeriCorps portal. We will briefly go over creating a service opportunity listing, but this link is a good resource in case there are any questions. It gives you step-by-step guidelines on creating listings. To create a service opportunity, click on the Recruitment Workbasket linked on the left panel. Portal users with Grantee Recruiter or Grantee Administrator roles will have access to this link on the portal homepage. Then you click on Service Opportunities to open the My Service Opportunities listing page. Then you can click on Create Opportunity Listing. This will open the first of a 3-screen process to enter information to create the service opportunity. And this is where that other link will be provided, will come into play. So look at the previous slide if you need more information. And once you create this listing, this is how the listing summary will appear in read-only mode after you do hit save. And it is kind of suggested that you create the service listing in Microsoft Word first, because actually in eGrants you cannot save and come back later. So it's nice to always do it in Word first. And it's also better to make sure you don't make any grammar mistakes at the same time as well. So your listing, after you press save, will now appear under My Service Opportunities in the Recruitment Workbasket. Another step is creating a service site location. This right here is the program search screen. you can use this form to find a single specific operating site or sites that fit the criteria that you select. None of the fields are required, but you can narrow your results by entering more criteria. For example, if you want to see all operating sites from a single grant year, select only the grant year. If you want to see all year's data for a single operating site, enter the project title or program code. You have to go through the screen even if you have access only to a single operating site, but of course in that case you could just leave all the fields blank and just click the search button. So after you select the grant or operating site by clicking its name, you will see all of the program information screen. In this example, we clicked on the name of an operating site on the search results screen. And I'd like to call your attention to the additional set of links on the left. The program information links provide quick access to perform other grant-related functions are specific to the program that is listed. So the specific links displayed will differ according to your access level as well. We're going to click on some of these links now to explore. So the service locations feature in MyAmeriCorps provides a way to group members by where they serve. Using these service locations is optional, but it will allow you to create reports on the number of members serving at a location and will allow programs to assign MyAmeriCorps users at the service location who have less authority into the system. And you will find this feature most beneficial for community level and ad hoc reporting. And you can view these service locations by clicking on the service location info link on the left side or by clicking the view service locations from the operating site information. So this is how the service locations would be viewed. It displays the total number of service locations and a listing of the service locations assigned to that operating site. The listing can be sorted by clicking on the column title as well. If there are no service locations listed, a new one created and information can be entered. And once it's entered, this is where it would be displayed as well. And so you could click on the name to view or edit the details. And that's the basic information on how to recruit members and make listings. Are there any questions about member recruitment? You can also do that via the chat or the call as well. Okay, it seems like we don't have any questions there as well. That's great. I'm glad we're able to help and educate you guys. So we're going to move on then to the fun section of enrollment. So there have been some changes this program year, and all of these changes have been in effect since July 2nd, 2018. So this is the enrollment flow chart. This was sent out to some of you, but here it is again. This is a very, very good visual representation of the process, and we will post this along with the PowerPoint and the webinar so you can go through it yourself. But we will also go through this step by step to make sure you understand what is expected of you and allowed for the system. It goes all the way from notice of the grant award, all the way through the pre-enrollment process and the member start date. The big thing is the change is the 5-member start date, which we will talk about further. So we're just going to start with where you have your applicants applying. So you're going to start at your recruitment work basket. And you're going to click on pending applications located at the top of the navigational panel. So hopefully you'll have a list of applicants who have submitted an application to your program through the My AmeriCorps portal will be displayed. And if you want to print an application, you can click the print link. This will allow you to print the application except for the references. If you need to print the references, then you will need to open the reference section and print it from there. To see everybody's an applicant's application, you click their name. And this is what their application will look like. It has 8 subsections, and you can view the details of each subsection by clicking on the section heading tab. And with the exception of the references, you can print the application from this view as well. In order to print the references, each reference must be opened individually. And if you need to return to the pending applications listing page, you could just click on Return to Recruitment Basket. And next, we're going to actually look at how to view your references. So if you click on the Reference tab, you will be able to see the reference details. Completed references will be noted with a yes in the last column. And to view the references, you can click on that person's name. And when you click on the reference name, it will open up the reference override form, which lists the individual's contact information. And after you have contacted the reference, you can complete this reference override by entering the comments provided by the reference. So you select the type of source, fax, mail, phone, other, you use to get the reference comments. And then you enter those comments about the applicant. And then you can click on Save the reference override. And if you want to discard the entries you made without saving, you can click Cancel. And now, hopefully you'll be accepting lots of great members, so this is how you can accept these applicants. So please remember to refer to grant requirements and guidelines whenever you're performing member management tasks in My AmeriCorps. Although this system may allow you to perform certain tasks, you need to make sure that those tasks are compliant with the grant requirements and guidelines. For example, you need to make sure that the documents provided are sufficient to establish member eligibility according to the grant requirements and guidelines. And so you can press Submit. A message will appear asking you to confirm your decision. Once you click OK to confirm your decision, you won't have the opportunity to change it again. And if you accept an application, it's important to note that this does not mean that the applicant has been enrolled into your program. And when you accept an application, the applicant will receive an email informing them of the change in their application status. So when the applicant logs onto their account, they will see the status of their application with each organization that they have submitted an application to. Then the applicant will accept the invitation and complete the member section, part 1 of the enrollment form. In order to enroll the member, you will open the member's enrollment form, which will be listed under pending enrollment, and then complete it and save it. So for prospective members who submitted an online AmeriCorps application, programs will review and select for service. This will cause the system to send an electronic invite link to the member. So programs actually manually send invitations to serve in AmeriCorps to prospective members who did not submit an online AmeriCorps application. This would be for your returning members. So there's 2 different ways to send those invites. One is accepting their application, and then the other way is to send the invitations manually. Members accept their service assignment by clicking on the link in the invitation email that will complete their registration. So this is what you will see if you are sending out an invite to returning members. You enter the applicant's information and select the program, grant year, and service location from the list. And then you click Save and Send. So this is what the applicants will see when an email is automatically sent to them. And they have a unique link for each applicant, so it cannot be shared with more than one applicant. And this is what the applicants see when they click on their unique link. And this is the Part 1 member enrollment form that we talked about. They will complete their member enrollment form here. It is also mostly basic information, but it is vital to have, and the applicant cannot be enrolled without filling out this form. That's the first half, and there's the second half. There are a lot of important considerations for enrollment. It is very important to remember that now screenings are now part of the prospective members and the enrollment process. The screenings will include citizenship eligibility, a national sex offender public website check, and state and FBI check. This is part of it. They cannot be enrolled without starting this process. Here are some member enrollment basic rules. You must verify their Social Security number validity and eligibility automatically or manually in the portal when the member accepts the invitation. And before the first day of service, before that start date that is on multiple places on their application and enrollment forms, you must complete the NSOPW and initiate the background checks and verify that these steps are completed in the portal. And you must certify members are enrolled no later than 5 calendar days from the member start date. It is important to emphasize calendar days rather than business days. So definitely keep track of this, especially if you are going to do something towards the end of the week. These will count the weekend days as well. So the portal will automatically submit the record to the SSA as soon as the enrollment form is submitted by the applicant. You don't have to do anything there, but you will not get an email when it is verified. You will have to check in the portal to see if it is verified. By the morning of the next business day, the record will usually indicate verified or, if not, returned in the portal. And if verified, then the enrollment process will proceed to the next step. If not verified, the program will collect additional documentation and submit it to the CNCF hotline. And if this additional documentation is sufficient to verify eligibility, CNC staff will manually update the portal record and the enrollment process will continue. And if it is not sufficient, the program will be notified, or it will just say return, and the member cannot be enrolled. So tips to manual verification. So this is how, if you do see that return, program should email the help desk to request a secure upload link, get a ticket number, and once the link is provided, programs will upload documents to verify. Programs should then call the help desk with their ticket numbers to check on the progress of manual verification. This call should be placed the same day as the documentation being uploaded. And then programs should make the prospective member aware that due to this manual verification process, their start date may be delayed. Because member start dates cannot be prior to the verification date. We cannot stress this enough because we want to make sure that all of your members have their hours and all of their hours count. So once the applicant completes the enrollment form from the link that was sent to them, they will show up in the pending enrollment. So this is a new section of the enrollment form on the program side. There are 2 check boxes that are new to the system. And this is where you can check the Social Security number and the citizenship verification status. And here you can see these are both pending right now. Also part of the enrollment form is the criminal history checks. You will verify that these are initiated per CNCS regulations. It is important to press save after you have completed or initiated the CHB check. You have to click the save information at the bottom. So be sure to select save information. This saves the timestamp of verification and initiation. It's very, very important. You cannot have a start date that is before these boxes are checked or verified. And also, this is where programs also complete the placement information section of the enrollment form before enrolling the member. This is where you enter that member start date, enter their service location, and enter slot type if that is necessary. And then you can select enrollment member. So things to remember about that start date can't be sooner than the SSN and eligibility verification date. And you to make sure you click enroll member once all steps are completed. And you have that 5-day window rather than the 30 days that it was before. So 5 days to enroll your member from the start date. And so now that pretty much is the basics, and we're going to take questions now, which either from the chat box or on the line. Okay, so are there any questions?
Because I'm still not getting any response from anybody else.
So thank you.
There's one question that says, is there one listing for multiple slots or a listing per slot?
If the question is in regards to, is there a listing for multiple, for your service opportunity listings that you're creating, they are advising that you create a service opportunity for each slot type that your program has to offer. They've updated that from years past when it used to be you could just select one and mention in the comments about the program that there were multiple slot types available, but now they prefer that you create a service opportunity for each slot type you offer. So if you have full-time and half-time, you create 2 listings. If you have quarter time and minimum time as well, you would create 4 listings in total. And it's one thing that I do want to make sure that I point out for everyone that's creating service opportunity listings is you want to make sure that the dates in which you select those listings to be available and open, that you use them for a good amount of time. You don't want to select it to be open for 30 days and then you don't get all of your slots filled, because the system will automatically close your listing out after that deadline that you insert in the service opportunity listing field. So we always advise keep it open for at least 90 days to ensure that you're getting your applicants in, because anytime you go in and have to edit your service opportunity listing, that requires the corporation to have to review the listing again to approve it again, and that can delay that opportunity listing being available for potential applicants to see being advertised on the national website.
Okay, is there any other questions? Okay, I guess not. We have a couple more, we have 2 more slides. It is just resources. So when you're having some issues with eGrants, this is full assistance such as unlocking accounts and resetting your username and password. So you contact the help desk for that. And here are some extra resources that you might find helpful. Please use these resources when learning about the new processes and any other questions you might have. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having a great year with you guys.
Oh, thank God.
Thank you so much, Lizzie, and thanks everyone for joining our webinar today. We know there are some changes with the pre-enrollment, and we stand by to assist you. Please contact your program manager or me with any questions. We also commit to providing you any updated information as we receive it from CNCS related to the process. We look forward to a fantastic AmeriCorps year and look forward to supporting you all. Have a great day.